Dr. Alex Del Carmen, a professor at Tarleton State University. Dr. Carmen, good evening.
Good evening.
Good to have you on the program tonight to talk about this. Dr. Carmen, Del Carmen is the executive director of the School of Criminology, Criminal Justice, and Strategic Studies at Tarleton State University in Fort Worth, Texas. I know that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas has announced a $15,000 reward being offered for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person or persons involved in the deadly package blasts. I have some information, by the way, that I'll pass along here in a moment on how people with information, no pet theories or anything like that, but with actual information the authorities can use. I'll tell you how to pass that along to them. In the meantime, your thoughts about something like this with no apparent motive, not even anybody claiming responsibility for such a thing. As I was saying a moment ago on the air, I understand holding up convenience stores. Don't condone it. I understand they want money. Okay, they need to be punished, prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I understand that. I understand crimes of passion. You're really mad at somebody. I've been really mad. Of course, if I ever injured or killed somebody, then I should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law as well. But this, Dr. Del Carmen, I don't even understand this at all.
Well, you know, first and foremost, thanks for having me your show. I think this is a really important topic to talk about. And right now, most of what we know, we either speculate or we base it based on previous instances such as this one. But I can tell you as a criminologist, someone that studied crime for 20 years and practiced criminology for 20 years, that typically when we have these cases, there's typically someone that is behind this that has some sort of an ideology. Someone either has been radicalized, whether it's a foreign or a domestic terrorist, someone that probably believes that they are doing something to advance a cause in their mind. Look at the most infamous case in history when it comes to bombing in U.S. history, as the person that we used to call the Unabomber. He even wanted to have his ideology publicized in a national newspaper to be able to advance what he thought was his manifesto. And so at the end of the day, the FBI does a terrific job in tracing back not only physical evidence, but also some of the things that we may be able to predict about the person that's doing this based on the MO and based on other things. But I can tell you at this point, I would not be surprised at all once this person is caught, and this person will be caught, that in fact there's a manifesto or an ideology behind some of the stuff that's being done.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why would they not brag to the world, hey, look at me, I killed, I guess in this case, people of color, since that seems to be the apparent connecting thread among the three attacks. But I mean, if you're going to do it, shouldn't you be bragging, boasting? I mean, if you're really stupid, I guess you could do it on social media and get caught, but at least in some manner. Again, it's the anonymity part that I find kind of odd.
Well, there are criminals of criminals, right? So somebody that actually is putting this type of brain power into the manufacturing and the delivery of these types of explosives is likely someone who is going to be disciplined, someone who is going to have the ability of negating one's ego for the sake of advancing that ideology. And also remember that this person is looking at this as a process, not necessarily as a one-time event. This person is looking at this as, I'm gonna hit here, I'm gonna hit there. It's sort of the analogy that I would make is that of a sniper. Somebody that is very patiently waiting for the opportunity to kill the next person. And so what this person is doing is studying, neighborhoods, studying places. I'm sure there's some sort of a path that this person is operating under. I would not be surprised if this individual lives close to the area or operates close to the area where he is attacking these innocent victims, because he or she has to be familiar with the area. He or she would have to know that a particular type of person lives in those households. So there's a whole trajectory. But I will tell you that the reason why this person is not bragging is because this person is a very smart individual that is also incredibly disciplined as to what he or she is doing.
Interesting. Now, then, I gather by that you fully expect this person to strike again. But I mean, I would think at this time people are going to be awfully wary in Austin, Texas, of strange packages showing up on their porches. So, would you expect this person to maintain their modus operandi, or are they going to suddenly start placing bombs on people's cars or something of that nature, or some other form of attack? Given the fact that you believe this person to be disciplined and motivated, will they attack again, and if so, in the same way?
Yeah, I think they'll likely attack again. I do also think that the heightened level of awareness in Austin and throughout the state will likely make this person hide, lay low for a while. But they cannot contain themselves to come up with the next attack. This is almost like a high for this person. This person is getting, satisfaction from seeing that the media is covering it, that he's got everyone in a panic mode and all of that, and he or she cannot contain themselves after a certain while to go out there and strike again. However, what this person will likely do is they will wait until that heightened security dissipates, and then they're going to strike again. I mean, keep in mind that this person is anonymous, that you have the entire city of Austin where this person can operate, and likelihood of people being scared for any packages that they receive is pretty high right now. But in 2 or 3 weeks' time, this will be the aftermath news that no one talks about anymore, and that's when this person is likely going to strike again. I really do think that this is someone that is a serious type of criminal that will not stop until getting caught or perhaps dying.
We'll continue our discussion here in just a moment with Dr. Alex Del Carmen. He is a professor of, in fact, the executive director of the School of Criminology, Criminal Justice, and Strategic Studies at Tarleton State University in Fort Worth. We'll come back and talk some more about the reward being offered by the state of Texas, and we'll tell you how you can apply for that reward if you have information. Again, we're not talking about pet theories or anything of that nature, but if you have actual actionable information, we'll tell you how you can forward that to the authorities. 1-866-50-JIMBO, 1-866-505-4626, with more from Dr. Alex Del Carmen on the Austin bombings in just a moment. Welcome back to the Jim Bohannon Show at 1-866-50-JIMBO, 1-866-505-4626. We're looking at the latest senseless attacks. And these actually began, we didn't realize that there would be others. There was one on March the 2nd, a bomb that went off in Austin, Texas. Now 2 more this past day. And, of course, there is a pattern being sought there. The ATF folks are processing evidence from the first device at its lab, and evidence from the second device will also be sent to an ATF lab to check on consistency. And we're talking with Dr. Alex Del Carmen, the executive director of the School of Criminology, Criminal Justice, and Strategic Studies at Tarleton State University in Fort Worth. I want to tell you very quickly here, and then have Dr. Del Carmen comment on this, but there are ways that you can send information, real information, again, not just pet theories, don't clog up their system here. But if you want to be eligible for that $15,000 reward, you have to submit tips to the Texas Crime Stoppers. You can do that in several ways. By phone, 1-800-252-TIPS. That's 1-800-252-8477. Or by texting DPS, as in, I guess, Division of Public Safety, and the tip to 274-637-CRIMES by that's a DPS and the tip to 274-637-CRIMES. Also by using the Texas Crime Stoppers website or by using the DPS mobile app. Does this type of reward, does this tend to yield positive results, Dr. Del Carmen?
Sometimes. I mean, what is pretty obvious is that in our society today, someone out there in the city of Austin has either seen this person or knows of this person or saw something that probably caught their eye. I would not be surprised at all that now that people's level of awareness has been raised, that the law enforcement community begins to receive tips And I'll be honest, I mean, most of those sometimes really go unnoticed because, people call for all sorts of things. But every once in a while, and this is what law enforcement banks on, is they receive that one tip of that one person that thought that maybe this was not significant, that this was not, that what they saw or what they heard or what they read was something that it was insignificant, and then that's going to trigger a lead, which is going to end up in an arrest. And that does happen. I mean, the history of our law enforcement in the United States, and Texas is no exception. I've worked alongside the Austin Police Department for many years, and they're amazing at what they do. The chief, Brian Manley, is an extraordinary individual. And then in addition to that, you've got the best of the best in the area of FBI, ATF, that are working 24/7 around the clock on this case. I promise you that the best in the world are working at this, and they're eventually going to find this person. But it does take a community to come together and essentially disclose the information because somebody saw it. Somebody saw it. Somebody saw this person. Somebody heard this person, and eventually they'll find them.
Yeah. You mentioned media coverage, and of course I know that people like this often work for that coverage, which of course puts those of us in the media in quite a quandary. In this day and age, you just simply cannot sweep something like this under the rug. Oh, did you hear? We have word from correspondents in Austin, Texas, that some bombs went off there, but let's all get together and agree we won't say a word about it. Well, of course, in the age of social media, obviously that couldn't happen. But even if we attempted it back in the age before social media, our job is to report what happens, and we would have zero credibility if we tried to pretend there had not been 3 fatal explosions in Austin, Texas. So the media may feel used, and I would agree that we often are, but nonetheless, we have a job to do, and that's part of it. You have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, your responsibility, and to be honest, under our democracy, I think you have an ethical responsibility to report on these things for the rest of the community to be aware. And there is that unintended consequence that when the media actually reports on something like this, people will become more aware of their surroundings, and they may, in fact, notice something. Hard to trace it back once the bad person is put in jail, but I would like to say that the media has had some positive effect in years past with regards to this. But what is concerning to me sometimes when you have these cases is that once the person is apprehended, if the person is caught alive, the media oftentimes begins to glamorize the criminal. And I think that's where the sort of obligation to democracy ends, and the obligation to justice should start, which is basically that the bad guy or the bad person is not glamorized, and instead we focus on the victims, we focus on the people that have hurt and that have lost their loved one as a result of this person that has simply gone mad to do something like this against society. But I do think the media has a very important role, and I think that you all have a responsibility to report on this and make people aware.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Alex Del Carmen. He is Executive Director of the School of Criminology at Tarleton State University in Fort Worth. Again, if you have information, you can call 1-800-252-TIPS, 1-800-252-8477, or text DPS, as in Department of Public Safety, to 274-637-CRIME. So let's find this person. Back with more in just a moment.